Today, I'm going to talk to you about wah and why you need a wah pedal. Wah pedals don't have to be for 70s funk music. They can do a whole lot more. You know, wah was one of the very first effects ever created, and it's a pretty amazing thing when you look at it in the right ways. I'm going to show you how I like to use wah and convince you that you might need to put one back on your board. All right, let's open something up. I got a new pedal in the mail. I did open the shipping box, so forgive me, but I have not opened the box. So this is from Haunted Labs. This is a brand new company. You should go check them out. It looks like they're doing really cool stuff. And I met Chris at a NAMM show. He sent this over and I'm excited to try it out. It says Haunted Labs, handcrafted by those that misbehave. Spooky sounds from the grave, keep it haunted. And this is the Dark Aura Reverb. So let's dive right in. Off the bat, we've got Haunted Lab. It's a cool logo. Got a sticker there, a lot of stickers. Nice bat icon. I'm a fan of that, different colors of it. I love stickers. I have this embarrassingly large bucket of them that I've collected over like 20 years. If you ever want to send me a sticker, you know where to find me. So here's the pedal. It's in a nice little wrap. Pull it out. Mix, Evolve, and Decay. The Dark Aura Reverb, number 91. In the 1960s, our very first guitar effects ever were invented. One of those is the wah pedal, or the wah-wah pedal. It was invented so that guitarists like me and you could sound like a trumpet. The very first Vox wah pedals are actually named Clyde McCoy wahs. Clyde McCoy was a famous trumpet player, and he got his name put on a piece of guitar equipment. What I want to go through today is some ways for you to use your wah in a way that's not so normal. When we think of wah, we think of Clapton and Hendrix in the 60s. You think of psychedelic rock, or at least I do. And then we go to the 70s and I think about funk music. I think about those cop shows like Chips and Shaft. Some cool music, but that's kind of what gets lodged in my head. The way I've always used wah is as a texture, and some of my heroes taught me that through their recordings. So I'm gonna break down 5 ways to use a wah pedal that aren't so upfront and in your face. They aren't so funky. They're actually texture and more about tonal manipulation. It's something you can do to the way you play right now and bring out something extra and special in it. And before I jump into those sounds and demonstrate it, let me tell you about the gear. The wah pedal I'm gonna use is real simple. It's a Crybaby Wah with the JHS Super Wah Mod. That's not the point here. I'm actually gonna put the knobs all at noon, so it's really basic. Just any wah will work. If you have a wah and it goes wah wah, it'll do any of these 5 sounds and even more, so don't get hung up on that. I'm gonna use a clean Fender Basement amp, and any drive that you hear or fuzz is gonna come from the JHS Kilt. This is a good platform because it'll do overdrive to fuzz, and it made the filming easier. The guitar, I'm gonna use this Porter Le Bois, so dual humbuckers, pretty normal, and I think most of you may have something like that. So I just want to throw out again, I'm using really standard gear, nothing special. So let's jump right in and let me show you these 5 methods. The first method that I want to show you breaks the rules right up front. I thought, first one, let's just break the rules. So one of the rules is that you put your wah pedal first and then you put all your other pedals after it. That's a pretty standard pedal board routing situation. But for this technique, put your fuzz or distortion before the wah. Now I'm gonna set the Kilt up kind of as a heavy gated distortion fuzz, and it's gonna push gain into the wah and make every sweep very, very vowel-like. So what happens is when I play through chords and sweep slowly, it's almost like a synthesizer. It's a really cool sound. It's been one of my go-tos for years, so let's check it out. 2, we're gonna go and put the wah first, like normal people, and then we're gonna use the drive distortion second after it. I'm gonna set the kilt up as a heavy overdrive distortion, and this is all I'm doing. I'm gonna sweep through chords and just add movement to the sustain of those chords. It's a great trick if you're trying to stand out in a band mix, make something a little more creative and unique. It's a real go-to in a lot of situations. On number 3, we're gonna go with a parked, cocked, or fixed wah sound. People call it different things. I'm just gonna call it parked wah, and I'm gonna set that kilt up as a distortion and play some single notes. Now, what I mean by parked is basically you're gonna see my foot kind of search for a certain spot. I'm gonna be listening, and what I wanna achieve, which is one of my favorite things, is to find feedback and hold on to it. A wah is a mid-frequency equalizer that's kind of variable. That's what's cool, and it has a boost to it. So you're gonna see me sweep, find where I want, and park it. I'm parking the wah. So it's kind of a fixed filter effect. You find it and leave it. It's on countless albums, and here's a listen. Number 4 is awesome because I'm a huge fan of ambient guitar and especially shoegaze, and this kind of leans into that. So take your distortion and your wah and then add delay. So wah into distortion and then add a delay. This is an old favorite of mine, the Ibanez DDL digital delay. It's really cool. It doesn't really matter what delay, just some longish delay times. And basically, I'm gonna play single note lines, letting the delay linger as a big ambient pad almost texture, and sweeping the wah underneath that. So it's like this moving ambient pad of sorts, and it's one of my favorite sounds. Number 5 is a fun one, and because of the modern age of effects, it becomes a more and more applicable thing. You're starting to see a lot of pedals, including a few of mine, like the Panther Cub, the Spring Tank. I know Electro Harmonix, Strymon, and other companies. They give you the ability to tap into an effects loop on their verbs and delays. So simply stated, I'm going to show you what a wah pedal sounds like in the effects loop of a reverb. In the case of the Spring Tank, you just plug in a TRS splitter cable like this, and then you take and go to the input-output of that wah pedal. You're gonna see basically me using a wah, and it's only gonna affect the decay of the reverb. The natural clean guitar sound isn't gonna be touched. And because it's in that loop, it lets you sweep only the brightness or darkness of the decay of the reverb. It's a really cool thing. I can't tell you how much I love it because it would probably be impossible. I love it that much. For record time today, you're getting 2 records because I couldn't make up my mind, so the more the merrier. Number 1 is Third Eye Blind Blue. Not only is this one of my favorite records ever, it's probably top 10 for me. It is a phenomenal education in how to use wah in a modern way. The guitar layers, the tracking, the production, everything about this record's amazing to me. and give it a listen. You know, Third Eye Blind is one of these bands where all the radio hits, I'm kind of like, they're pretty good. Or I wish they'd quit playing them. You know, usually that's the consensus. But the tracks that never get known, the album tracks, the cuts off these records, they're so good. So, so good. And I can't recommend this enough. Secondly, yeah, you knew I was going to go here. Evil Empire. Bulls on Parade. Do I need to say anything else? If you've never heard Bulls on Parade, basically as a kid, when I heard Bulls on Parade at my friend's house, I lost my mind. I had a guitar. I was really bad. I was learning. But when I heard Bulls on Parade, I learned something. You know what I learned? I learned that I could play one chord with distortion and use a wah pedal and be a freaking rock star. The attitude of this record, the way that it was tracked, the guitars, Tom Morello alone. I want to keep talking about both of these. Like, I'm so excited right now. I feel like somebody out there hasn't heard these, so you're welcome. Before I leave you today, I want to give you some tips if you're looking to buy a new wah. Number one is don't go buy any kind of device that does wah and volume. You just end up with a jack of all trades, master of none, and it'll disappoint you. The way that a wah sweeps and a volume sweeps with the circuitry inside and that whole scenario, they're just different enough that it just never feels right to me. So just buy a wah if you need a wah and buy a volume if you need a volume. There's some affordable things out there, and let's hit those first. Number one is any standard Crybaby Wah or Vox Wah. They're great. You can buy those and have no fear. If you want some extra mojo or whatever, the JHS modified Super Wah we do to the Crybaby or the Vox is great. You get a Q control to change how that vowel sound floats, and then you also get a boost so you can make the wah kind of rise up above. Then you have by Dunlop, this is Bob Bradshaw's wah that Dunlop builds. It's the custom audio electronics wah. You might have seen this, a lot of people use it. It's a really great wah with a lot of good options, including a nice heavy boost here. You've got different inductors you can choose from. Another great one is the BBE wah. These are cheaper and cheaper, it seems like, every day, but they're made to last. They're based off a classic Italian circuit, the old Vox, and you get kind of a control here on how it sweeps. It's really hard to complain about this wah for the money. If you want to spend a little more money, you can always get the classic full-tone Clyde wah. This thing is kind of industry standard when it comes to a hand-built in America pedal, super well made, and just sounds awesome. Then my personal favorite wah is by Pro Analog. It's the Super Quack. This might be a little hard to find, but you can always email him. Maybe they're on eBay or Reverb. I haven't really looked lately, but this is my favorite, and it's awesome. So what I'd like for you to do in the comments is leave your wah. What do you like to use? Those of you who gig with a wah, you do studio work, you're actually familiar with how you've been using it over the years, different scenarios. Maybe you've tried a few. Put the one that you like. Maybe you can get in these comments and help someone out. If you're looking for one, maybe we can all advise each other in those comments as well. I also would like for you to vote on what your favorite footwear was today from today's episode. I think when you're playing a wah, you know, people are looking down at your feet. They're focusing on the movement of the wah, and your feet need to look good. So I tried some different looks, and I'd like to see what your favorite look was. So with that said, if you like this episode, hit like, subscribe to the channel, and then there's a little bell. Hit that bell and you'll get notified when we post new episodes. So go wah your brains out. Have a wonderful day.